In the fall of 2017, Flag decided to beautify much of the campus. One of the projects was the creation of sand, volleyball, and play area. At completion of the work, the granite was spread evenly 2 to 3 inches deep across the recreational area, creating a very attractive and useful play area. Unfortunately, early this summer, the monsoon rains in Flagstaff created a flash runoff, ruining much of the work done previously. My project will explore how to restore the area and prevent future monsoon from creating havoc again. Erosion is a significant issue in communities that experience monsoons, and Flagstaff, like Phoenix, is one of those communities. The local church my family attends has experienced significant erosion. My project will attempt to remedy the erosion problem. Erosion occurs when dirt, soil, or even rock are moved and transferred somewhere else by water, wind, or some other force. This normally happens 3 different ways naturally: surface erosion, soil mass movement, and gully erosion. Surface erosion happens mainly when it rains or there is wind that pounds on the soil. Rain is the main cause of erosion. The water from the rainfall often collects into bodies of water that move in narrow pathways. The force of water movement collects material making up the ground and moves that material to new locations. This often creates gully erosion, as channels of water pick up strength. Those channels can be a few inches deep or as deep as a canyon, perhaps even the Grand Canyon. Flag did a great deal of work on the playground area. Unfortunately, Flagstaff experiences significant erosion with the monsoons. Roads and galleyways are often filled with residue from the runoff. A parking lot on 4th Street was filled with 8 inches of red clay from a recent rain. The city had to bring in heavy machines to remove the tons of red clay eroding from the hillside. I plan to address this problem in multiple steps and then present my suggestions to the church board. First, I will mark the erosion that has occurred this summer. I will do that by marking various spots in the granite area with nails and green string to show how much granite was moved and how far it went. If the granite moves after a significant rain, I will move the nails to mark the new location. I should be able to track the movement of the granite. Second, I am going to measure the depths of the granite across the site. It is clear the granite has moved and is now piled too high in some spots, and completely vacated in others. I know the granite was originally spread in a depth of 2 to 3 inches. If I find places that are deeper than 3 inches, I will know a lot of granite has been moved. Third, I think the erosion has gotten as bad as it will this season. Still, I'm going to record any rain that may occur and whether or not the erosion became worse. I plan to record the data in an Excel workbook for the next 8 weeks. I am not expecting much more movement of the granite. Fourth, I plan to redistribute the granite so that it is even again. When I am finished, I would then restore the play area to an attractive manner. Fifth, I want to offer suggestions as how we can prevent this from happening again. I hope to give the church board ideas for avoiding this problem again in the future. After the project is done, I will give the project to the board of the church so they can look it over. They can then see how much money it will cost to make the needed repairs so that when the water comes down, it will go down the drain and into the field without taking anything else with it. I hope the church board will allow me to offer a solution and join me in making repairs. It is clear that most of the damage was done during a major flood storm. Even after several heavy rains, the damage has not gotten worse. However, much to my surprise, a storm did occur that created even more erosion. I was not expecting that. The granite was removed so roughly that the black liner began to separate and tear. Water clearly went under the log on the southeast corner. The water moved the log away from the original locations. surprising because the logs were nailed down. The water is so powerful that it can even tear landscaping cloth and move the wood liners that surrounded the volleyball court. Where the heavy stones were in place, the black liner stayed, but all the granite was removed. On the west end of the water piled the granite to the height of the wood and then overflowed. Once it overflowed, the water carried the granite up to 30 feet away from its original location. The granite was moved outside the logs and wider than the original court. I think as the water slows down, it widens out. When it does, it drops the granite in brand new locations. Some spots were 15 feet wider than the original location. As the water ran past the volleyball court, it began to make channels. It also carried away the top soil and rock in addition to the granite. There were 10 different channels of water carrying the granite away from its original location. The majority of water is from the church parking lot. There is at least 50,000 square feet of parking lot that funnels to the northeast corner. 1,000 of gallons of water must run underneath the rock and onto the granite area. The granite was carried over 70 feet away from its original location. One major storm did the vast majority of the damage. I suggest the minor rains create very little runoff because the granite is packed tightly, so I don't expect to see any more damage during the next 8 weeks. The results. I suggested no further movement. I was wrong. The storm on the 25th moved the granite significantly. It piled up on markers, burying them, and piled in front of markers, requiring me to move the markers. There are a couple things that I would have done differently. If I would do this project again, one is I would add a rain catcher to know how much rainfall I was getting each day, and I would have measured the depths of the granite so I could measure at the end how much of it moved. As I have been doing this project, I have realized that I have been only moving about 5 or 6 of the nails. The erosion hasn't affected all the nails yet and has just been moving a few. I don't think I will end up moving all the nails and might just stay with the few I have been moving.